classical intro is amazing.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Gucci,
Stupid Wild
Gucci.
was good.
Yo, welcome to Beers and Bars.
Your place for rapid fire hip hop discussion and of course great beer.
I am Kamal Kiddo.
OT the Golden Child. Thank y'all for checking out our last episode. Back here with the new episode today. Make sure if this is your first time checking us out. We are a podcast that covers, things within hip hop culture, along with drinking a beer. So if you rock with that and you feel this episode and whatnot, go ahead and make sure you subscribe wherever you're checking us out at. Kamal, let's go right into it and tell them what we're talking about this week. What we doing?
The year is 2009. We talking about 2009 rap classics, or those albums that are considered in the culture as classics. We talking about the Ecstatic, Mos Def's 2009 album. Some consider it his last official album, the Ecstatic. We're talking about Kid Cudi's debut album, Man on the Moon, End of Day. We're talking about The State versus Radric Davis, Gucci Mane. I would say that's his first official studio album. He had mad.
It's probably like his 30th project.
Yeah, right. It's like it's an album for him. It's an album in a long list of projects, but that's definitely the one that he did with a major. The first one he did with a major label that got him all of those features and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Lemon and all those. Okay. The year is 2009. That's what we on today. 2009 classics. What are we drinking?
So big shout out to Revolution Brewing again. They are ending out their Deepwood series. So met up with the brother here, Kamal, yesterday and got the final beers from this year's Deepwood joint. So I know they have the VSOR, which I looked at it. It was like 15.4%. And I was like, I got a long day ahead of me. I'm not doing it. But the beer I'm finna have is like 14%. So it's like, whatever. But they went back in the crates with this joint, man. They went back to their Gravedigger Billy. This is a Scotch ale aged in bourbon barrels coming in at 14.2%. And it reads as such. An old favorite from the early days of Revolution makes a return. This bourbon barrel aged Scotch ale decked in a fine tartan kilt has a delicate smokiness alongside American oak and bourbon character. Pour a wee drum and let the I'm probably not pronouncing this right. Broach fly. Don't be daft. Enjoy now or store cold. So to the moon we go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. A Scotch ale, never even heard of that. Never had Scotch before, but and I haven't cracked open my Scotch ale joints yet. So I'm looking forward to cracking those open. You know what I'm saying? Let's see the body on that.
Never had Scotch? Never had Scotch?
I don't know if I've ever had Scotch for real.
I'm drinking out of my two brothers' little I don't know that I'm terrible with names.
Is that like a
proper
snifter?
Yeah, it's a smaller joint for, if you're gonna go to a brewery, they're probably gonna pour you a 14-ounce beer. They're probably gonna give it to you in like an 8-ounce glass and whatnot. It's a Scotch though that I like. It's a very run-of-the-mill. I don't mean to be dismissive, but it's a Scotch that I do check for. I'll remember it later on. Go ahead. What do you have?
So I'm doing a tried and true classic, Victory's Sour Monkey, Sour Triple. This is a 9.5 ABV. I've had this many times. I check for this. Shout out to my girl Ari. You know what I'm saying? She brought this over a while ago, bought a pack. I said, you know what, man, let me outlet that. Yeah. But the malt is a Pilsner. The tasteful, tart, mystical flavors, fruity notes from imported Belgian yeast swirled through a precise souring. Pucker up to a bite of citrus-laden tang, ending with a delectable experience. I like this joint. I've had it before. Sour Monkey. Those that are long in the craft beer game have probably had Sour Monkey at some point. They're aware of what Victory does. Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can honestly just say, you know, I mean, we didn't do this intentionally, but you know, that can be a classic for you because you've had that on the show 35,000 times. And I would argue if Rev bringing their deep wood program and all that, a classic for them. You know what I'm saying? Going back in the crates to you know, use a hip hop term. But let's get right into it, man. Me and Kamal talking about 2009 when we really was this is the classics. If you are first time checking this out, we started the classics I think in like 1993 or 94. We review classic albums from the year that we're reviewing. We're already at 2009.
Dang, we went all the way.
Oh yeah, we definitely, because I know we did Illmatic, that was 94. True. What year was Iron Man? What year did that come out in?
That might have been like 96.
Okay.
I think 95, 96, somewhere in there.
Which Wu project was first in their canon? Was it Iron Man?
Well, 36 Chambers, and then I think it was Method Man to Cal, and then Cuban Links.
Okay.
And then Iron Man. Method Man was first. And that album wasn't even all that. But I digress.
Well,
2009.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while. We at the year 2009 when me and Kamal was thinking about doing this. You know, we've been talking about getting our content back, back in our content bag. 2009 though, 2009 is a weird year from the standpoint of hip hop to me, because it wasn't really a lot of quote unquote, you know, classics. So what is a classic? I would say a classic is something that stand the test of time. Something that does you know, collectively ring true to be a classic. Like everybody knows that this album was very good and would say it's a classic, and then impact on the culture as well. This year though, 2009 was a little, especially from the standpoint of really mainstream. It wasn't really.
It was a little thin.
Popping.
Yeah. I mean, it did birth. It did birth Kid Cudi though, and you know, when we get on this album, I'll talk more about the significance of that album. And, you know, because it started something with, it birthed a lot of artists. It birthed a lot of artists. We're going to
have the same commentary.
Yeah, man.
We're going to have the same commentary for that joint. I can tell already.
I mean, even
Jay-Z did drop an album in 2009 too. To let you guys, Jay-Z did drop an album in 2009. Jay-Z dropped the album Blueprint 3, which me and Kamal did kind of revisit that. Neither of us think it's a classic, but just to say something real quick, I would argue, hot take, I would argue that Blueprint 3 is possibly one of his most sonically polished albums.
I would agree with that.
For Jay-Z. It is very intentional from the standpoint of this big, bright stadium sound, crafted by, you know, Kanye, No ID. Tim is on there twice, Timbo. You got Neptunes, but mainly the bulk of the production is Kanye and No ID. And I mean, it's a run of just like, you know, you have DOA run this town, on to the next one.
On to the next, on.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a big commercial type album for Jay. It doesn't have those introspective joints and whatnot that Jay is kind of known for, that I think tie his albums together with the balance for commercial and then introspective type Jay. It's all big joints and whatnot. But that album dropped too. Deep in the Rap dropped.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on. While we on Blueprint 3, let me just say that my favorite song got to be Already Home. That joint is hard to me. It's produced well, and I think that's Kanye. It's produced
It's Kanye and No ID.
It's well. Ooh, that song hard. That song is hard. Ooh, that song hard. And that's, for me, that's the highlight of the album. Besides, like, the intro is hard too. The intro did come on hard. Thank You is hard. Man, he got some joints on here. He had Thank You on the same album with Reminder, letting you know, like, thank you, y'all far too kind, giving me all my props. But then later on in the album, y'all need a reminder that I still do this thing though. I thought that was kind of funny. You know what I'm saying?
And he is rapping on Reminder as well.
He is.
Do what I've done to some. Jay is the king of flows, man. He got so many flows that the next one I switch up these fucks. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
Moving on. Rick Ross also dropped the album that I don't think it's a classic. Deeper Than Rap.
Deeper Than Rap is not a classic. It is an essential album on Apple. I do check for the essential albums. The one that they say are essential. They must have moved the needle somehow. But that's the one that
yes,
I think really took them, like, you know, what was the first one, like Port of Miami or something like that?
Yes.
That one was like his Miami joint, but he really got in his Maybach music bag, dressing up and, like, you know, all of this glamorous lifestyle living on that project. You know what I'm saying? The Deeper Than Rap joint.
Hot take. Mafia music is one of the greatest intros ever. Go ahead.
Hey, you know what, man? Look, man, that album got a lot of strong radio songs. Like the joint with John Legend is on that album. He got Nas on that album. He got some joints on that album. What I call it a classic.
The second best Maybach music to me.
Hey, man. Hey, for my money,
I think number 4 with Erykah Badu and Jadakiss is the best one.
I was just about to say, like,
but,
Teflon Don.
Go ahead.
Teflon Don got everything, man. Teflon Don is a beautiful album, G. Beautiful, perfect album, G. Like, that's quintessential Ross to me. That's what made me a fan. You know what I'm saying? But
let's get into it.
We start with Mos Def.
We're gonna start with Mos Def with an album that unfortunately none of you people that are listening to this podcast right now, unless you have a physical copy, will find it. We are so sorry to be talking about content that you cannot check for unless you shout out to Hip Hops, the homie Danny, and I bet he have it on. on vinyl, on vinyl, or if somebody have a CD. But unfortunately, this album actually, according to hiphopgoldenage.com, was removed from streaming in like 2019 due to ownership issues between Mos Def's home label, which is Ruckus, and the label that the album was released on, which is Downtown Records. So that's why this album is no longer found right now on streaming platforms.
I can't even, it's on here, but I can't. These joints don't even work on my phone.
Crazy. But
believe shout out me when I tell you, I never meant to break your heart. Woo!
Yeah. Look, I don't know where to start.
No,
let's give a shout out to Oscar first.
No, I not a mas.
Yeah. yeah. First off, we got to give a shout out to Oscar because Oscar still lives in 1999. He downloads music. He has music, and he emailed us.
Right, we said, how we gonna get
Google
this? And OT said, ask Oscar if he could get. I said, you know what? You're right. I hit Oscar. He was like, all right, give me an hour.
Yes. All right. So,
but look, I appreciate him because now I got the joint.
Yeah. I won't spend too much time. Look, so the album is mainly produced by producer Oh No. You have a Neptune's track on here, but mainly the bulk of the production is Madlib a lot, DJ Preservation, and Mr. Flash. I can't look. So Kamal, I think you gave me this album because I had this album on desktop in 2009. I had it on my Windows desktop.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
And I don't know anybody else at that time I got music from outside of you, but I remember this album. And listening to it for preparation, I'm so glad that we own this year for the simple reason that this is such a good album. This is such a good album. I've got in my content bag. I've kind of studied a little bit. Most people think that this is better than Black on Both Sides. A lot of people think that this is the hidden gem. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to listen to Black on Both Sides to make that determination. But
that's a good album. That's still a good album. I just listened to that like a couple of weeks ago, and Black on Both Sides is still a good album. But I would liken this like it's so many different sounds on here that is easy to say like, man, this ain't all of that. Like I almost feel like the first time I heard it, because it's so crazy all over the place, that man, you know what, man, these beats kind of, I don't know, man, maybe but the more I think I listen to it, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I don't even know if I felt like that originally. I just know that at the end of it, after not hearing this album for a long time, when it came out, I was playing this a lot. Pistola, No Hay Nada Más, Casa Bay at the end. This joint he's singing, he's rapping, you know, he be in his singing bag, strong, heavy, with melodies, you know what I'm saying? Man, Slick Rick give us a verse that's hard. Yes. He in his he in his storytelling bag, you know what I'm saying? It's a good album, G.
Can I pull from Drake?
Quali is on the album. History, produced by Madlib. Man, it's
produced by Jay Dilla.
Oh, that's even harder. Mm-hmm. That's even harder. I definitely thought that was Madlib, G. But yeah, look, you've been studying, G. That's what's up. But yeah, man, I've been looking for this album on streaming, just waiting for it. I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for De La. I've been waiting for. I was waiting for Aaliyah's project to drop, and Blackground just dropped them joint like last year. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you guys.
But yeah, man, I really hope this comes to streaming. I would love to be able to not have to look for a CD or something to play this, but to play it in a car. But it's a quality project. Yes. I loved it when it dropped, man. I loved it.
Yes.
When I was trying to tell people about this joint, you know what I'm saying? It's good, man. It's good.
Yes.
It's definitely my favorite out of what we talking about today. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Look, it came out in that era where it was hard to put people onto music because they had to still go buy the shit, you know what I'm saying, or try to download it. But I'm gonna pull from Drake on Wants and Needs. He said, come with a classic. They come around years later and say it's a sleeper. You know what I'm saying? This joint to me reminds me of that. Like, because I've been seeing people kind of here's what's funny. I put the album on Instagram and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? We gonna see, bruh. The comments,
yes,
it's like, G,
yes,
what is good? Was like, yes. Oh my god,
everybody was like, yo, yeah. People, when I posted it, people hit me like, yo, I love this Mos Def album. Like the fact that people know what it was, you know Crazy. What I'm saying? It's like, yo, people check for Mos, and even looking into this album, researching it before we talked about it. You know, he did this project, and he mentioned how Radiohead can be as avant-garde as they want to be, but Black artists don't seem to be able to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And he's just disillusioned with the music industry after this album in particular. And I think that's why we haven't seen a whole lot of musical output or album output from Yasin Bey. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this based on what you just said right there, because that's a very good word to use, avant-garde, because what I was thinking of when I was listening to the album is obscurity. The music, the samples, first of all, you got Madlib, right? Madlib, you're not gonna know where Madlib is sampling from. You're gonna get that obscurity. But that to me is so exemplary of the album in general, because it's so sonically rich. Like, it's just crazy that he dropped that then, because it kind of reminds me of like a Solange's album that came out. And what was that, 20? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like where
like 2018 or something.
Yes. I'm gonna just give a couple joints. Super Magic. Super Magic starts with crazy sample from Malcolm X in 1964. Giving commentary at Oxford University, I believe. Auditorium, like you mentioned already. Pretty Dancer.
Pretty Dancer, me, Sugar Ray, Ali. Pretty Dancer, do we do it?
It's listen, an outro is never my favorite song, and this isn't even the outro, it's just the last song on the album. Casa Bay is my favorite joint on there. And not even a hot take, little tidbit. Casa Bay was nominated for best rap solo performance for the Grammys in 2010.
I didn't know that.
That's how good that is. That's how good
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Ooh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Bruh.
Yo,
Mos Def. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Nah. That joint is hard, man. I ain't know that. I didn't know he was nominated. Man, it's so hard, man, because I miss his music like that. You know, I would love, of course, everybody want their favorite artist to put out more work. But hey, man, he did leave that with us. He's still moving around. He still did he still does features. He was just at the Louis Vuitton show.
Yeah.
He just did something in that joint. Man, it's hard, man. But he's an artist. Like,
yes.
He really go in and try to like put your razzle dazzle on it. You know what I'm saying? Straight rapping, man, and singing. He be really about the melodies. Like, even listening to his, the first joint, Black on Both Sides. It's a really good album.
Yeah.
That's a solid album. And he rapping on there. He coming with ideas, concepts. On this project, it's even more the same. Like, of course, he's got albums in between these two. But Workers' Comp, Auditorium. He got some ideas on this project. It's not just rapping about whatever. You know what I'm saying? He be having a concept in mind. And the way he approaches certain songs is interesting. Especially in the songs where he's singing. The melodies that he's using, them joints be popping.
Look, let me say this about him, and then we can get up out and go on to Kid Cudi. What I think is dope about Mos, and what I would tell people about artistry, like with guys like Mos, right? Yes, we wish we could hear Mos more. We wish he was out here and whatnot. But let me tell you something about this kind of music, though, is that, and I'm reminded of like a term, like something about, everything is not a race. It's more so of a marathon, and you know what I'm saying? Or it's not the battle, it's the war, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I didn't find out about this artist named Shuggy Otis until but he wasn't popping in his time, G. But Jay said something regarding like, man, G, good music, G, good music. Some stuff may not pop when you want it to pop.
Right.
But good music is always going to last, G.
Right.
And it's going to be somebody, I'm telling you, 10, 20, 30 years from now that's going to pull this out like, yo, what was happening on this joint? And he may not get his flowers while he's here, but at some point he going to get them, man. So
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, because this is one of those that needs to be heralded more, I think.
Yeah.
I've always thought that, though. Like, I check for this project often. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Ecstatic, Mos Def. Moving on.
Yes.
Man on the Moon. Kid Cudi. Man on the Moon, End of Day by Kid Cudi. So
let's get away. Let's get a ceremonial hum. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Look, you can't even harmonize with that joint. You gotta like give it some other worldly type tone.
Yeah.
But I just watched his documentary on Prime not too long ago, like
Me as
shortly
well,
after it dropped. So this got to be a couple months ago. But he was talking about how before his first album, before his debut album, he had worked with Kanye on 808s and Heartbreaks. So like the first day that they met, that night or something like that, within 24 hours, they was working on like 4 songs for 808s and Heartbreaks. And shortly after that, before his debut album dropped, he worked with Jay-Z. And that's why it's funny that we talk about Blueprint 3, because that song ended up being Home. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is the best song on Blueprint 3.
Yeah.
So he had that under his belt, but now it's time for him to show and prove, right?
Yes.
What all of these, there was a bit of a bidding war against, who's gonna get Cudi, especially after he dropped Day and Night. You know what I'm saying? Day and Night was popping. That's really what got him got the attention on for Kanye, Jay-Z, everybody, right? And so it's funny because Day and Night to me don't sound like nothing else on the album. You know what I'm saying? The album sounds, the album is interesting because it has, The Sky, My Fault, which is, I remember that being on the Transformers trailer. I think it's like Transformers Part 2 or something like that.
Yes.
And so it was, on that trailer. And so he's already got a popping song in a movie. So he's already being primed to be this major artist, right? He's got, I make him say, poker face. So around the same, like Gaga dropped Poker Face like the year before. Like it's not like an old song. It's like a new song that Kanye sampled. You know what I'm saying? Which that song to me don't even fit with the tone of the rest of what he's talking about. I'm just getting all my thoughts out real quick.
Do you think? Yeah.
Soundtrack to Life, is that the joint? Is that the name of it, man? Let me see what the name of it is.
Because I'm looking at it right now.
Soundtrack to My Life, right?
Yes.
Soundtrack to My Life, right? It's the second song on the whole album. It's the number 2 song on the whole album, right? No sitcom could teach Scott about the drama or even explain the troubles that haunted my mom. On Christmas time, my mom Christmas grind. She got me everything I wanted. How'd you do it, Mom? She got the toys I would play with in my room by myself. Why he by himself? He got 2 older brothers, one hood, one good. An independent older sister kept me fly when she could. He getting his autobiographical bag, right? But the hook, right, to the second song on his debut album, right? I got some issues that nobody can see. All of these emotions are pouring out of me. I bring them to the light for you. It's only right. This is the soundtrack to my life, right? Since my father died, I ain't been right since. Like he got all of this stuff, all this emotional, deep stuff in the second song. So it's priming us for the entire ride, right? He got some stuff like, so now I'm in the cut, alcohol in the womb. My heart's an open sore that I hope heals soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, gee, this man is like, at the time in 2009, I ain't hear none of that.
Oh,
I heard it, but I'm not listening to it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I like some of these songs. Some of these songs are cool. Some of these songs are big. You know what I'm saying? Solo Dolo, Nightmare. That's a dope sample, cool song, right? He got Day and Night. That's the one that put him on. The Sky Might Fall is a big song. Pursuit of Happiness might be the biggest song on here. This project started his career, and he came in the gate as a tortured soul. You know what I'm saying? He came in the gate hurt, tormented. Okay. He's telling you that on record. You know, songs like Poker Face is out of nowhere to me. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you know, that don't really fit with the theme, but it's like the label, we need an upbeat song. You know what I'm saying? We need something more popular. We need something popping. You know, Pursuit of Happiness is a sad song. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the pursuit of happiness, and I know he birthed a lot of rappers and a lot of music after him. He birthed a lot of MCs after him. And the thing is, he's not rapping in the traditional sense. No. He's not rapping in the traditional sense. He sings song rapping. He sings song rapping, which is commonplace today. It's very commonplace today. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting that, you know, you got artists like Travis Scott who loves Kid Cudi, who looks up majorly to Kid Cudi. In my opinion, who had T.I. narrate his first album because Common narrated Kid Cudi's album. But that's neither here nor there. Which, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I understand what this album did for a lot of teens that may have been, you know, felt like they weren't seen, felt like they weren't heard. You know, he said he's troubled, as well as, you know, I'm a create these, I'm a everything that I see in my mind, I can have. You know what I'm saying? I can create my destiny and all these things, all these manifestations on this album. You know what I'm saying? The first thing that Common says at the beginning of the joint is like, this is the story of a young man, you know, that's gonna give you his feelings like never before. You know what I'm saying? That you never seen it like this before. He's gonna give it you his all and all of this, right? And that's what he did. And it birthed a lot of other artists to do that same thing. Whether you a fan of Cudi or not, you a fan of some of his children out here. You know what I'm saying? Even if the people that are his children didn't get it directly from Cudi, they got it from people that got it from Cudi. Because he's doing stuff on here that wasn't seen before. You know what I'm saying? He's like this whole sing song rapping. I mean, because he's hardly rapping. He don't have no like straight bars. Like just I'm giving you bars. This is all like he's singing for 90% of the joint. And yes, he's rhyming. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's rock inspired, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm a chill though. I'm been talking too long.
So I
Yeah.
watched the same thing that you watched, man. The if you want to know what we're talking about, man, it's a very dope album joint on Amazon. A man named Scott. So, and I think I recognized about 30 minutes ago that I was about to say a term that I think I lifted from J.R. Bang. And what that is shout out to the homie J.R. Bang, Mike B. You know what I'm saying? They pod and whatnot, some do pod. J.R. Bang actually had talked about, you know, the things that he considers what makes a classic, you know, cultural impact, because that's what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Is this album? I think that Man on the Moon Part 2 is better than this one. Honestly, I do.
So too, actually.
However, this being the genesis of what Kid Cudi is, and this being heralded as the best amongst his fans, which is Kid Cudi is almost like a rap Kurt Cobain. You know what I'm saying? From the standpoint is that there's something happening in the culture with teenagers who feel as if nobody's, you know, they're different. Yeah. They don't like sports. They don't really like whatever's going on in pop culture, or whatever the case may be. They're super artsy and nobody's really speaking to them. You know, shout out Ugg was talking about, you know, the black weirdo and whatnot, but Kid Cudi transcends just blackness, you know. So there's something I think that was happening culturally with Kid Cudi as to where he was speaking to so many people that were teenagers who felt that nobody was talking about something that they could relate to, especially at this time when, you know, in hip hop, you got, you know, I don't know at that time, I think we was partying a lot, right? 2009 was a lot of party, a lot of, you know, quintessential drug rap and whatnot. But Kid Cudi, I think this album has such a cultural impact. I mean, you watching these kids go to his shows and whatnot, man. He's really a big artist. He's maybe the biggest artist that you don't think is a big artist in hip hop. It was something else that I wanted to say about it. I'm kind of losing right now. Oh, and he does have a lot of kids, man. I mean, I listened to Pete Davidson in the interview on Breakfast Club in like 2016 say, yo, this album literally saved my life. Great. Like you got people that's like, gee, Blueprint didn't say no. Look, I'm not saying that Blueprint is one of the best albums ever, but it didn't save a life. Like this man's music, people listen to it from the standpoint of like hearing a voice that they felt was like theirs that really did pull them through. Like, so this album had an impact, man.
For sure.
I think in the canon of hip hop, it's not a classic for me. But people who make the argument that it's a classic, I'm totally fine with it for what it did. I'm completely. And if you watch the documentary, first of all, you got people like Shia LaBeouf and Timothy. What's the kid name? Timothy Chava. I don't know.
Chalamet or something like that.
You got people like ASAP Rocky. You know what I'm saying? Like just all kinds of people. Like, yo, this was it. You know what I'm saying? And was treated Man on the Moon Part 2. I'm like, what y'all talking about? That joint was way better. But
right. Yeah. I
digress.
The cultural significance is big. It's big. That's what I'm saying as far as like the arrangement of the music. If you just heard Day and Night, and then you say, you know what I'm saying, The Lonely Stoner, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so people already connecting with Day and Night. Let me see what else he got. And those kids that felt like no one paid attention to them, you know, on the beginning of the joint, like, oh, this is about to be a little trip. We got Common narrating, and then, you know, he tell us all about his troubles, you know what I'm saying, on the second song. And now, so anything that comes after it is like, let me see what he's saying, because I'm invested now. You know what I'm saying? I'm invested now.
Solo Dolo is so good to me, dude.
Yeah.
It's, man,
I don't need nobody, but even still, it's and then to go to his concert to see him perform these joints, you know what I'm saying?
People crying
out there, G.
Because they felt like at some point in life they was that person that was in a room like, man, I ain't got no friends. I ain't got nothing, G. I'm also the lonely stoner or the lonely person And here's this guy that's giving you these, oh, whoa, whoa, like, bruh, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, like, crazy, man, crazy.
Hey, that's so funny.
That's
But facts, man. It's a cultural classic in that sense. You know what I'm saying? It's a cultural classic. It may not have done the numbers or anything like that, but culturally, it affected people. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna give you my raw feelings. And that's something that is not seen oftentimes, and even in some of his children, you know what I'm saying? Even in some people that's even singing song and they doing their thing, you know, gangster rap is still strong out here. You know what I'm saying? People still gonna mask their emotions, where Kid Cudi didn't do that.
Yeah.
He gave you his raw, unadulterated feelings.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He was emo before, you know, like it was a thing to be said that you were emo.
Bruh, before that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
He is 808s and Heartbreaks, G. He is the foundation of 808s and Heartbreaks. You know what I'm saying? He the foundation. He on 4 songs. He wrote like 4 joints on that joint. You know what I'm saying? Wrote them. And Heartless is one of them. Heartless is one of them.
I've said plenty of times before, man, I think that Kid Cudi is very fundamental into the transition of Kanye's second half of his career and what he became post 808s and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So
and when they had a falling out, well, I mean, you know, Kanye fall out with people and then get back. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But you know, that ain't even a topic of conversation. Never mind.
Next. Let's go ahead and let's turn up a little bit with a guy who is not even around anymore. This is pre-jail Gucci, G.
Yeah, he's a different Gucci now.
It's really crazy listening to the state. Okay, let's preface it this way. Gucci fans, you listening to us right now. You like, gee, this joint,
hey,
it's not a classic.
Look, I was talking to my guy just last night, man. Just last night. And he like, look, man, I don't listen to none of that new Gucci stuff. I don't listen to no new Gucci. I listen to all of the old mixtapes. And he started naming mixtapes. And I'm like, I don't know the names of none of them mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? But
look here.
He naming like real Gucci fans are fans of Gucci before his long stint in jail. Before the new Gucci now. They like lean, drugged out Gucci, wild Gucci, potbelly Gucci. You know what I'm saying? And that's this Gucci, man. This is you know, he been in and out of jail. And this is that Gucci. This is Gucci Mane. This is Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Legendary. He a legend. He a legend in Atlanta. Outside of rap, he's a legend in Atlanta. like for real. For real. In the streets of Atlanta, he's a legend. He a legend. For real. In real life, he a legend. And you know, this is his super commercial joint. Yes. You know what I'm saying? In his book, he talks about, you know, like this song is not on this album, Radric Davis, but you know, he talks about like doing a song with Swiss. It's Gucci time, where it's like, man, I was in a zone where like, man, I was trying anything that they would throw at me, man. I thought I could murder it. I'm Gucci, man. I could do that joint. But you know, looking back on it, he probably wouldn't have did that joint. But there's some songs on this project, you know, that definitely put him up. You know what I'm saying? This is the project that really shot him to stardom. You know what I'm saying? Lemonade was a big song. Big song. Bangladesh. Kush is my cologne, G.
Yes.
Wasted was a big joint. I like bad, like with Keisha Cole, that joint is popping. Heavy, woo, heavy. Gee, the intro. We were just talking about that. The classical intro. Gucci, Gucci.
Yeah.
That joint is hard. I forgot Soulja Boy was on this project, man.
Bruh, bingo.
Bingo. He got a lot of joints on his joint. Like, he got Wayne, like, and he had the big features on this project. It's backed by what label is this? This is Warner Brothers. So this is backed by, you know, this is backed by some major folks. You got OJ on here, you got Bun B, Plies, Bobby Valentino, Keisha Cole, Usher on Spotlight. That was a big joint.
Yes, it was.
Rick Ross is on here, Lil Wayne. He got some major features on this joint. You know what I'm saying? And in 2009, when he got like, you know, 40 mixtapes under his belt, you know, this is like another project to him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, this one stamped him, but it's got a lot of solid songs on here. It's some solid songs. Now, real Gucci fans will probably be like, but
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But yeah, man.
That's why I said we got. I want to preface doing this because I know we lost y'all 15, 20 minutes ago when we even mentioned the album. I get it. You guys think that his classics are the mixtapes and whatnot. I understand that. That's great. However, this is his 6th studio album.
Wow.
And the reason why we're talking about that on this joint is though it may not be trap, mixtape, Gucci that you would consider, you know, all these are the classics. Let us make an argument for why this joint does, you know, have its place within his canon and you know, his catalog and whatnot. So producers, you got Polo the Don, you got Drummer Boy, you got Shorty Red, you got Scott Storch, you got Zaytoven, you got Jazzy Faye, you got Justice League, you got Manny Fresh. There was an intent on this album to take Gucci to the next stardom or fame. I would say that's why you have all these big artists and you have all these big producers and whatnot. And sometimes when that happens, it kind of falls flat when you try to take somebody who does something and this is their core and they want to switch it up and become more mainstream. But nah, even though this joint is an album and it has all these, you know, big singles on it like Wasted, Spotlight, Lemonade, and Bingo, it still was trap and it still was Gucci. And it took him to a different level that I think that he deserved to be at because I think he is one of the GOATs out of the South. And without this album, you know, you would have just your cultural, you know, following your you know, the people that really just rock with you. I forget the word I'm trying to use is slipping my mind right now, but you know, like people who really like had and I don't think he ever would have wanted it, but he never had like a big album that would have took him over the level. But you know, you would have had just a cultural following. So the point that I'm making is that this album was the album with a song like Lemonade, with a song like Wasted, with a song like Spotlight that took him over the top. And then you had joints that was just extras like Bricks. That wasn't like Bricks was on this joint, but it was on like the exclusive joint, right?
Yeah.
So
or a photo shoot. On a photo shoot.
These are joints that are listen, it's so many songs on here that ran the club. I guess is the point that I'm making. It's like 7 songs on here that I forgot were even on here. photo shoot. I'm a dog.
I'm a dog. But that's on like
Bruh.
the deluxe.
Oh. Yeah. No, but what other album was it on?
It was on like a mixtape, probably. It was probably on a mixtape.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
But yeah.
What I'm saying all together is, look here, we always talk about the early 2000s clubs and whatnot, but let me 2009, let me give a shout out to Zentra real quick. You know what I'm saying? Zentra over on the north side. What we talking about right now? My late club era days, G, when you would hear these joints like Wasted and Lemonade. These joints would turn a club up. Not just in Atlanta, people, you know what I'm saying? I understand. Shout out my homie Corey again. He swear by Gucci in Atlanta to a broader audience. So it got to be respected, man. So, yeah.
For sure, man. Gucci, man.
Beers and bars, hook up for Black History Month, man. I'm gonna say that right now. We're trying. We'll see what happens. But
yeah, man.
We'll see y'all next time.
Word up, man. Peace.